Hello from Nassau, Bahama, on board this Celebrity Reflection. I'm James, and I thought we'd do a little video about what it's like to eat gluten-free while you're on board ship. It's not as hard as you'd think, especially on celebrities. Everything's labeled nicely. The chefs and the waiters and everybody take really good care of you. So we'll show you what we've learned. Mostly this trip was on the Apex for a while and then on the Reflection itself. So we'll show you what we found out. I think you're going to be happy. Come on along. Really good job of labeling all their stuff. There's little tags over top most of the food, and then if you get things off menus, like when you're in the actual sit-down restaurants, the waiter and the staff are just outstanding. If you need to, you can talk to the chef anytime you want, and that always helps. Very rarely does Pat ever get weeded, and that's a good thing.
The Celebrity Apex is one of the newer style of ships, or the Edge class. They're the ones with the magic carpet or that elevator on the side of them. They have 4 different main dining rooms on board, and they each serve different food. The Normandy, the Cypress, the Cosmopolitan, and the Tuscan. So let's have a look at the menus and see the differences. We'll start off with the Normandy. They specialize in French cuisines. Now on the menu you'll see Normandy exclusives. Those are exclusive to this restaurant only, and each restaurant has that. One of our favorites was the lobster tail. Of course, what's not to like about a lobster tail? Then you have the Cypress restaurant. They highlight Mediterranean and Greek-influenced seafood. Really good stuff if you're a seafood lover. Of course, if you're not in the mood for seafood, you can always get a good steak, which we did. And the steak Diane did not disappoint. Next was the Cosmopolitan. Cosmopolitan is an American cuisine restaurant, and they're the only one that's open for breakfast and for lunch, so you can hit them on all 3 meals if you want to. We went with the pan-seared salmon, and we enjoyed it quite a bit. And last but not least was the Tuscan. That's an Italian-inspired dishes and fresh pasta. They had plenty of gluten-free pasta, and pretty much if you want something to be gluten-free, talk to your waiter about it, and they can get it done. We had the broiled Australian sea bass, and it was not bad. Hey, if you're enjoying this video and it's helping out, give us a like and maybe even subscribe. It really helps out the channel. They had some really neat art on board. This face looked better at night than during the day, and there were all kinds of words that made up this body. Now the second ship that this video covers is the Celebrity Reflection, and here she is sitting in Key West. She's a Solstice class ship, which is one of the larger, older ships. You'll see there's no elevator or magic carpet on the side of it. That's how you can tell them apart. It's one of our favorite style of ships. On the Solstice class ships, they have 1 main dining room. And here's a sample menu. You can freeze it if I'm going too fast for you. On this particular cruise, we ate in Blue, which is a restaurant if you're staying in Aqua class, which is the spa class, so you get all the spa facilities and things. Blue's its own separate restaurant, and you can do breakfast and dinner there. It's beautiful inside. If you want to sit by the windows, you can have a lovely view as you're going along, and there's also places on the side if you want to be away from people. You can tuck yourself back in a nice little corner. Now the menu is, like I said, a lighter fare. You can always get, they have starters, they have their own signatures, they have a great wine selection. We really enjoyed Blue. Some of the things we've eaten there have been some of the best stuff we've had on the ship. The tuna tataki, gluten-free, and it was fantastic. And we're big seafood people anyway. My personal favorite, the grilled octopus salad. I ordered 2 of these because, well, I can't really get enough of them. Now the breakfast at Blue, they have all kinds of great things. You can get omelets, you can get smoothies, you can get eggs to order. They also have fruit plates and things like that. So naturally, trying to be healthy, we went with the fruit plate a couple of times. You can have the berries and yogurt, which is shown here. If you're in a crazy mood, 2 eggs, and you can always have the bacon. And they throw some asparagus on there so you feel okay. And then there's the Ocean View Cafe. That's the buffet, usually located on 14 or 15 and aft. They have gluten-free pizza and pasta 24/7. There's a gluten-free bread station where you can get a choice of your breads, and they even have a dedicated toaster for that. They have a lot of different meals, and everything is labeled. And if you see at the bottom of the labels, there's a little thing that says gluten-free. That's a great way of picking out what you want. And truth be told, 9 times out of 10, Pat and I like to eat up at the buffet because everything is labeled so nicely, and we like to sit out back in the open air and enjoy the breeze. And it's a lot quieter usually because everybody's down in the main dining rooms. We're really not main dining room kind of people, unless of course we're in Aqua and then we can do the blue and everything else. The Ocean View Lounge is open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, so you can have your pick. And there's usually at lunchtime something special, like they'll have German Day or Mexican Day or things like that. And if you're wondering if something's not labeled correctly, you can always ask a chef. The chef will go out of his way to make sure that you're being safe. And that's one of the best things about Celebrity. I think they're actually one of the best in the business when it comes to people with allergies. I may be a little biased. The dessert station is something to behold. There's never any shortage of cakes. There's puddings. There's, of course, Jell-O if you're feeling, like you're in the hospital mood. There's the cherry cakes and the mousse. We were there at Halloween, and they made these cool little mousses that were just unbelievably cute. Is mousses a word, or is it moose or meese? I don't know. Anyway.
It's tea time. Gluten-free scones, cream, blackberry jam, and the glutinous stuff.
Now, when we were on the Apex, they had this set up for breakfast where you could get all your breakfast pastries and breads. I mean, they had the vanilla muffins. They had the little danishes here. They had the, what else? The buns. And they had, of course, the bread. So you had your whole setup there, and it was all gluten-free in the gluten-free area. And just behind that was a dedicated toaster and a panini press. So at lunchtime, you could actually have your gluten-free bread pressed into a panini. And this is one of the few places where you could find peanut butter and jelly. So if you take that for later, you can make yourself PBJs during the day because they always have the bread available. And it's one of the few places to find peanut butter. And then the Spa Cafe is up in the solarium at the forward pool. That's where they have gluten-free cookies every day. They also have different things for breakfast and lunch, and some of them are gluten-free. Now, Cafe El Baccio is the coffee place on board both of the ships. They've got a little case there, things like gluten-free brownies, which you can have served to you at your table with your beverage of choice. There's also things like jelly rolls. When's the last time you had one of those? As well as cakes, and sometimes they have cookies. You can get your teas and your coffees there, and it's a great place to sit and watch everybody walk by or look out the other side at the ocean. They even had gluten-free beer. Now, you might have to ask for it or search a different bar for it, but they had it, and it was good. I was amazed. So there you have it. Is it possible to eat gluten-free on a Celebrity cruise ship? Absolutely. And you won't only eat, but you'll eat well, and you'll be very safe when you do it. We certainly have been. So until next time, we hope to see you out there. But just remember, slow and steady is the way to travel. There's really no hurry. Y'all be good. Take care.